We've got to be able to have honest conversations. So by coming in with these opposing views, guess what happens? We start to engage with each other, and then we find, you know what? Hey, there's another way. That's an even better way to do things. But we wouldn't have got there if we weren't open with one another. So conflict is powerful. I call this creative conflict. And creative conflict, that's how we grow. That's how we move forward. But destructive conflict is another story altogether. And destructive conflict breaks teams down. Destructive conflict creates dissension and destroys. And destructive conflict, it's not so much about what we say, it's about how we say it. Destructive conflict is when we're not really focused on making things better, finding solutions, achieving an objective. We're actually often more focused on our own ego. We're focused on being right. We're focused on making the other person wrong. And that's destructive to them, to us, to the organization, and to the results that we're after. Professor John Gottman is a marriage counselor in the United States, and he can predict divorce with a 94% accuracy. You want to know how? Maybe not. So what he does is he gets you to talk to your partner about something that you disagree about. Now here's what Gottman's found. People who stay married and those who get divorced have the same amount of disagreements. It's how they disagree. So the ones who get divorced will tend to do 4 things, and he calls this the 4 horsemen of divorce. The worst of them is contempt. They'll say things like, you idiot, you jerk, you always say that, you, right, making them bad. People in relationships like these actually have reduced immune systems. They come down with more diseases because it actually affects you physically. And sometimes it's not what they say, it's how they say it. It's the curled lip, it's the rolling eyes, right? In fact, what they say sounds fine. It's okay, we'll do it your way, because we always do it your way, so we'll just do it your way again. Not a great place to be. You actually have compromised heart function. Let's talk about broken heart. Literally, this affects the physical heart when you're in a relationship like this. The other thing that they'll do is that these people will do extreme abdication. They never take responsibility. It's always your fault. If my relationship's a mess, it's your fault. Guys, let me be very clear. I've been in some tough relationships. Came out of one pretty recently. And I know the temptation to feel like it's all the other person, but I know this. If I'm in a relationship where there is conflict and difficulty, I am responsible. We are responsible. But I can't focus on we, I can focus on I. I know that if I'm this, I'm responsible. As tempting as it is to eat that marshmallow and blame the other person, we are both responsible here. So people in this, it's always the other person's fault. They're always the one who's wrong. They're the one to be blamed. The other thing is defensiveness. So if the person brings up something, it's like, I didn't do that, I didn't say that, I didn't do that, I didn't say that. They'll never really listen to the person and finally stonewalling. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you okay? I'm fine. Yes, said I'm fine. So the ones who stay married, what they will do is they have the same amounts of disagreements. But it's how they disagree. Remember, we can have destructive conflict or creative conflict. So they will say things like, hey, how can we make it better? So they have you statements. The moment you go you, that's like a dagger. That little pointing finger, it's like a dagger. Remember, we don't differentiate well between social threats and physical threats. So literally, you're making me wrong. You idiots. I can't identify with being an asshole. So calling me that, I'm not going to be able to see that, right? So instead of making the person wrong, now you might say, well, but what if I've really been hurt here? Tell them you've been hurt. I'm hurt right now. So rather focus on what you need and how you feel. We call this nonviolent communication, as in I need to feel your love, or I need to feel this attention. Right? Rather than saying, you idiots. You idiots, I'm going to have to fight back. I need to feel, or I'm feeling like you've disregarded me, right? That I can identify with because, hey, as long as they're not a psychopath, nobody really wants to hurt someone else unless they feel that they've been hurt. Unless they feel that they've been hurt. And that's what revenge is all about. The amazing thing about revenge, if you think about it, revenge is enforced empathy. That's what I find so amazing. You've hurt me, I want you to feel my hurt. So I'm going to hurt you back. And that's why one of the best ways to counteract revenge is to acknowledge how you've hurt someone. Then they don't have to hurt you back. Because I can see how much I've hurt you here. I can see how frustrated you are. Right? Then they can hold back. They don't need to punish. Right? So why are we talking about marriage when we're in business and sales? Because the truth is we're going to have to deal with this every day, right? To some degree, there's going to be differences of opinion, disagreements. And you're going to have to ask yourself, how am I going to deal with this? If you feel that somebody has hurt you, if you go back in, have you ever got one of those emails and it's this diatribe of all these terrible things that you've done and they've CC'd 11 people? And you're like, oh boy. Bring it on. Here we go. You roll up those sleeves and you pound out a response and you send it and you feel so good for exactly 2.5 minutes until you know it's coming right back at you, right? Like a boomerang. And this time, they've CC'd 31 people. So you pound on another response and you send it out and you feel so good. I call this the death spiral. It never ends well. When you hard on others, you hard on yourself. When you punish others, you punish yourself. Don't treat people as bad as they are. Treat people as good as you are. Now, I'm not saying you have to ignore, okay? Guys, you can say anything that you need to say in a respectful way. You can fire someone politely. I don't know how we are going to get by without you, but we are going to try. Those people who tell you to go to hell and you enjoy the ride. But truly, guys, I remember candor. Jack Walsh, we've got to be honest. So I'm not saying say what you need to say, but you know the difference in saying something and getting to the point. Have you ever been CC'd on one of those emails? And you know what's going on, right? You know that you are the gladiatorial audience, right? You're part of the punishment, right? That's what's going on. They are deliberately seeking to hurt the other person. Is that helpful, right? Hey, what's the best way to win an argument? Don't get into one. You can't win an argument because even when you think you've won, the other person is going, I don't know the answer, but it's out there someone, you arrogant SOB. Now, it's kind of unfortunate that people don't like saying I'm wrong, because if you can never say you're wrong, you can never say you're smarter today than you were yesterday. But particularly when you're in an argument, it's really tough because you're in that defensive mode. So forget about it. Forget about trying to be right. I had to learn this the hard way. Seriously. I experienced so much pain trying to be right that this has been one of the most liberating things. Because here's the thing. When you write, guess what had to happen? You had to make someone else wrong. One of the most primitive ways to raise yourself up is to push someone else down. So overrated. You definitely can't be right and be married at the same time.